Welcome, welcome, welcome. So today we are doing a spring reset. And so this is just an opportunity for us to collectively, myself included here, to just take a little pause, take a beat to really review the past couple of months and think about where we're at right now, where we'd like to be, as the season progresses. And this is something that I think can be easy to think about doing and harder to do. So I'm doing this mainly so that we have that space together. And so whether you're here live right now or you are watching the recording, this is just a little bit of time to take for yourself. So I think we'll be about half an hour here today, and ultimately, if you have anything you want to ask, go ahead and do so. And take this moment right now to clear any distractions that you may have. So close some extraneous tabs, turn on do not disturb, and just make yourself comfortable. So I have my rooibos chai here, and maybe you also want a nice drink for yourself. And this time to take to just review and reflect on where we've been, where we're at, where we're going. It's so important because when we don't take this time, that's when the year goes by really quickly and we wonder, why we did or didn't do certain things. And also, it allows us a little space to savor some of the awesome things that we did or that we achieved. And so often we just kind of barrel right on through to the next thing because our lives are busy, our to-do lists are jam-packed. So I find that, this time of year with all the, new growth happening outside, flowers, longer days, nicer weather, it's just a nice little time for a boost and for some intentional reflection. So thanks so much for joining me today. And just in case we haven't met, I'm Asia. I'm a momentum coach. I'm an ADHDer. I work with neurodivergent, multi-passionate, ambitious folks who have creative and busy brains. And so that's what's kind of happening here on this channel. You can do the things. We talk a lot about productivity and how the sort of intersections of productivity and neurodivergence and multi-passionate multi-potentialism. So that's a little bit about me, but I've been doing this work for several years now, about 6 and some years, among many other career paths that I have going on simultaneously or, have since moved on from. So thanks for joining me, and we're gonna just jump right into it. So again, you wanna have something to write with, and so maybe journal or, whatever else is your preference. And we're going to just start with some reflection. So maybe it's needless to say, but just to acknowledge that the first few months of 2025 has been rough for a lot of us, for lots of different reasons. And some of those are reasons that a lot of us might be aware of. And some, we all have things going on in our lives that are, less visible. And so I want to start off by asking this question here about if you had to describe your past few months in a word or a phrase, what would that be? What sums that up for you? Just take a moment here. Okay. And you're welcome to share in the comments any words or phrases that came up for you. Now I want you to take a moment to reflect on one big win, or it doesn't have to be big. It could be any win, any size win. One win from the past few months that stands out for you. And if you use an accomplishment tracker of any kind, I have one that you can get for free. I think the link is should be in the description. If you want to use that as a sort of framing, but you can also just note any accomplishment of any kind. It could be at work, could be in your personal life, could be as a parent, anything that stands out for you. And then, so I'm going to kind of go through these questions, and then I'll just stay quiet for a few minutes and let you go for it. So, um, if future you looked back at this season, what would you want them to be proud of? And so that doesn't necessarily have to be these accomplishments that stand out for you right now. It could be about resilience. It could be about a mindset you adapted. It could be, something you were consistent with. Anything that you would want future self to be proud of. Um, and could also be things that brought you joy. And I find that for some of these reflection prompts, it can be really helpful to go through journal entries, photos in your phone, look through your calendar to kind of just jog your memory of the things that have taken place for you over the past few months. um, and that can be really helpful for just remembering the different things that you've done and different things that you're um, feeling any sort of way about. And then what's something that you learned about yourself, your work, or your needs so far this year? I think we're all constantly growing and evolving and learning new stuff about ourselves as circumstances um, change or arise that are unexpected. And so I think it's good to acknowledge that because sometimes we can forget. And if you're reflecting on this after this bit of time today, it can be good to ask some of these questions to people who see you regularly. So partner, family member, friends, if they noticed anything different, or any changes about you over the past few months. And so I'm just going to set a timer here for 3 minutes. And of course, if you're watching the recording, you can pause it for as long as you like. All right. And if there is anything that you want to share, as like, it doesn't necessarily go without saying, but always, always feel free to drop those things in the comments. Did not mean to do that. Okay. And I just realized I've been doing this whole thing not having shared my screen. How silly. Sorry, y'all. Okay, so review and reflect. And thanks to that snafu, if you're watching the recording, you will be able to get the PDF of these slides so you have the questions handy. Okay. Now I've lost Doodad to make it go. All right. So check in and reset. So here's just kind of like a look at where am I at right now and where do I want to go over the coming months. And so with that in mind, sorry, just having such a time. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Okay, so so this is really just an opportunity to kind of see where things are at for you right now. So kind of check in with your energy, check in with maybe how your values or priorities have shifted since the start of the year. So so I'll go through these questions, and then we'll take like 5 minutes to jot some things down. And again, if you're watching the playback, you can just pause it for as long as you need. So, how have your values or priorities shifted, if at all, since the start of the year? Because the start of the year is a time where we are setting a lot of goals and intentions. We're setting some of those values and priorities, or putting some of those to the fore right at the beginning of the year. And because for a lot of us, this year has gotten off to a rocky start. Some of those, we might have lost track of some of those values or priorities, or they may have changed for any number of reasons, or again, maybe not. So, so just reflect on, how your values or priorities may have shifted. And where have you felt the most momentum or progress? And where have you felt stuck? So, what's felt like it's come relatively easily for you? Or it doesn't have to necessarily be easy, but where have you kind of gained some ground, moved forward in a way that has either been consistent or meaningful to you, and where are the areas that you felt stuck? And and these can be areas of your life, like feeling stuck, for example, in your career space, but it could also be a sort of behavior that you feel stuck in, like, procrastination or, distraction, which, for us ADHDers could definitely be, areas where you're feeling more, stuck or having more momentum in certain areas or behaviors. Um, and and so, yeah, so just see if there's anything that sticks out for you, anything that you've noticed. And then what's been draining your energy and what's been fueling it? So this can be any number of things, but I think it's really, I talk a lot about energy management because I think we just take a lot of it for granted at times, that we're going to be stressed and tired, or that certain people or certain things are always going to be draining us, and maybe we don't always feel like we have the time or capacity to refuel, but it's really important to just kind of see where you're at right now and what are the things in this moment, it could be today, this week, this month, that are draining you, and what are the things that are kind of refilling for you. And then what do you want to bring more of into this next season, and what do you want less of? So again, this can be the more can be certain kinds of activities. It could be a mindset. It could be behaviors. It could be um, a feeling, emotion, a kind of approach. And so you can think about those kinds of different aspects, when you're thinking about what you want to bring more of into the season, and what do you want less of. So let's take a few minutes now to just write down, jot down some of the things that come up as we're reflecting on these different ideas. Alrighty. So, just before we move on from this kind of checking in and resetting place, um, it one of the things that I'll mention, because earlier this week I did an event with Focus Space, and we were talking about energy management. And I always find personally that this time of year I get a boost of energy. The longer days, I don't know if it is the daylight savings kicking in, or if it's the warmer temperatures, or some combination of those things. But I always feel a bit of a boost of energy this time of year, and that feels really nice after kind of feeling dragged by winter, and other things. But I want to just caution you, if that rings true for you, just to make sure that you're still taking a level approach, and not running away with that boost of energy. It can be super tempting, and I think we all do it sometimes, but that boost of energy is not necessarily a big bunch of sustainable energy. It might just be an increase, a sort of rising the baseline. And so I think in order to make that sort of higher baseline last longer, it's really great to just allow yourself to just kind of like arrive each day with a little bit more energy, as opposed to like using it all up and then getting burnt out. So just a little something to watch out for. All right. So our last set of questions is really about refreshing our approach and looking ahead. And here's where there's more questions, but I think they're a little less deep, perhaps. That's up to you, I suppose. So here we're going to kind of think about our goals, and if there's anything we need to shift there. What are some things that might help us feel more in alignment? What are some activities or practices that can support us and energize us? And what are some commitments or expectations or habits or activities that are not serving us right now? And then it's important to think about what we're going to do next. So think about, so the first question here is, are your current goals still aligned with what you want and need? And so those current goals may be goals you set at the beginning of the year, could be goals you set for this spring season. Could be any number of things. That's what's on your mind. But are those goals still aligned with what you want and what you need? And I will say that while this is still relatively early on in the year, reflecting back on goals we set earlier in the year at kind of regular intervals as the year goes on is pretty crucial, because things do change, right? Our priorities shift, circumstances change, and sometimes the vision we had at the beginning of the year is no longer relevant, and yet there's some part of us that still stays really stuck on attached to these ideas of what we wanted to achieve this year, and maybe somehow they're not still connected. So thinking about are your current goals still aligned with what you want and need? Are there any commitments, habits, or expectations that no longer serve you? So these may be things that you've brought in from other people or environments. They could be things that you kind of thought about at the beginning of the year, and those things are maybe not working out for you. They could be things that you've fallen into over these past months that are not working for you right now either. And because spring is such a great energetic time of growth and hope and possibility, letting go of some of the things that are not working for you and that are not serving you right now is going to allow you to grow and expand and blossom, dare I say, into this season with a bit more ease and with a bit more lightness. What actions would help you feel in alignment with your goals and intentions? So, what are the things that you could do that would help you feel more what things would help you feel more like things that you're working towards are working for you right now, that they are the things that make sense for where you want to go over the next couple of months. And, again, maybe these are tied to some habits or behaviors that you want to incorporate. So thinking about, so you can kind of say what actions, behaviors, or activities could help me feel more in alignment with my goals and intentions. What's one energizing habit, practice, or activity that you can return to? So I don't know about you, but I've definitely, I can, over the winter, I get to be a little bit of a wimp about going outside in the cold. And my primary activity, exercise activities outside usually. So I've definitely fallen out of that, but I know that running really helps my energy and my sort of overall well-being. And so I know that, if I were answering this question of what's one energizing habit, practice, or activity that I can return to, that would be, spending more time outside in general. And so I have been doing a bit of that already. But yeah, so running, getting out in nature. One thing that I have started incorporating again is smoothies, because they're also helpful for me for multiple reasons. So having smoothies most days. And then what's one gentle way you can support yourself moving forward? And this could be, a small thing like, taking 5 minutes in the morning to stretch, or um, I didn't think of examples in advance. So that's one thing that comes to mind for me. But, what are some gentle ways that feel like they help you stay in alignment. They help you, stick to your commitments or your habits that are supportive for you. They help you stay in tune with your values and how you want to be as you work towards your goals. And so, these gentle ways can look different from day to day. It could be, like today I sat outside and had my lunch. Um, I was going to do it completely with no screens or anything, but I felt like listening to a book. So I listened to a book while I had my lunch and sat outside, and that was really lovely. And I observed some trees and various things. And so that's always something that feels really good for me. And what is one small, meaningful, tangible action that you will take next? So I always like to leave calls and meetings and various things with action. So it's great to do all this reflection and thinking, but we need to make sure that we take some time to get out of our heads and into action. So we'll take another 3 minutes here, and just to kind of capture um, whoops, to capture some of these ideas. All right, friends. So that's what we've got today with this reflection, and there's no one right way to do it. I thank you for sticking with me this long. If you are still here, still watching, and you can come back to this anytime. It doesn't have to just be the end of March. Doesn't have to be the beginning of spring. It can be for at any point that you feel like you just need to get a little grounded in what it is that you want to, how you want to show up, what intentions you want to set or reset, recommit yourself to, and these are just ideas. Um, so I'll just leave you with this another question to reflect on about what seeds you're planting this season, and and what are you watering, right? So just think about where you want to put your intention and your attention, and how that's going to help you to stay aligned, to stay in forward movement with your goals, with your intentions, with the ways that you want to be. So um I hope that this was helpful for you. Feel free to, if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to drop those in the comments. And if this is something that y'all like, then I'm happy to do this regularly, either on a monthly basis or quarterly. Might be more realistic, but at least we'll do it annually because I think that is a super good time to do it. And I think it would be good to do one kind of mid-year, have that mid-year check-in. So we'll see if we can make that happen. But let me know what you think. And if there's anything else that you would like to see in terms of workshops or guided sessions like this, I'd love to hear from you. So you're welcome to put that in the comments, or you can get in touch with me directly via email, or you can message me on Instagram or wherever is convenient for you. So hope y'all have a lovely rest of your day and a great start to your spring season. And I really hope that the months ahead feel good for you, that you find areas for joy, that you find space for yourself, that you get to move your body in ways that feel nice for you, and that at the very, very least, you can get outside and see some beautiful flowers, some bugs, some animals, whatever floats your boat, and enjoy the springtime. All right, have a good one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.